All right.
So I'm going to go ahead and give you a tour, and I'm going to give you a peek at my doll collection. I redressed the dolls a couple of days ago. I didn't do a changing video or anything like that with these dolls because they have very short limbs, 3/4 arms and 3/4 legs, so a dressing change for them isn't really much fun. They're required to wear a long sleeve onesie because of the shortness of their limbs, so changing them for a dressing video doesn't really sound very appealing, or it doesn't seem like it would be great fun. But once they're all dressed up, I wouldn't mind displaying them. So we're going to go ahead and take a little tour. Also, I wanted to show you that yes, the theme of the nursery is Winnie the Pooh, and that's for several reasons. Number one, I'm a big Winnie the Pooh fan. Number two, I have lots of old Winnie the Pooh items that I thought would be utilized if I went ahead and made the theme of the nursery Winnie the Pooh. So this is some fabric that I found at the fabric store, and of course it is Winnie the Pooh. And I'm going to either use that to make a drape for a table, or I'm going to make a drape for the rocking chair. I haven't decided just yet. Also, if you look up right behind me, which will be the backdrop for the nursery itself, you'll see these 4 boards that have a Winnie the Pooh themed background. The story on that is my ex-husband's painted this for my youngest child 13 years ago in order to decorate his side of the room and make it more nursery-like. And since we were living in apartments and we couldn't paint on the walls, directly on the walls, we were allowed to do hangings. So he took 4 thin sheets of plywood and painted them. All of that is his work. He hand sketched it and drew it and painted it himself. And we found decals from a Winnie the Pooh book and cut it up, and that's what we applied to the 4 boards themselves. And right up here at the top, I used my Cricut to to cut the letters for the channel name, which is NOLA Reborn Dolls. And if you scroll back down, in this corner is where I have these stuffed animals that I told you about, and my collection. And most of the time I use those animals just for props. My mom is 87 years old, and she has sewed all of her life, and she's still sewing. And most of her daughters, she has 6 girls, and most of us do a little bit of sewing. My sister Judith is actually in the hobby of making stuffed teddy bears, custom stuffed teddy bears. So if you know anyone who's interested, or you're interested yourself, give us a shout back and we'll let you know. So that is my stuffed animal collection. I'm really into these little guys, and I have about 4 or 5 of them. Most of them are from my grandchildren's collection. As they grow out of them, I just kind of hang on to them. I have some stuffed animals that are as old as Stuart Little. Some of you guys won't even know what that movie was or that storyline was, but I have a Stuart Little collection. And as you can see, I have probably tons and tons more. Over here on this table is where it gets fun, because I'm going to go ahead and introduce you to some of my dolls. This is a basket that I just put together. I was going through the stuffed animals and found that I actually had several of the characters from Winnie the Pooh, and so I went ahead and put them in a basket to decorate the table. Now if you look over here, this is Kaylee. She's one of my most precious little dolls. And as I told you before, they're all 3/4 legs and arms. But I did do all the painting, and I inserted the eyes. So that's Kaylee. And then I'll sit Kaylee here. And next to Kaylee is Robin. That's Robin. She's another one that's a Behringer doll that I did the painting on and changed the eyes. And so that's Robin. They all need a little touch up, like she could use some more color on her lips and they could have their fingernails retouched. But for me, for now, that's okay. And then we move on to the guys. This is my little sleeping guy. And this is Sammy. So that's Sammy, and he is a Behringer doll also. Stuffed him a little differently, so he's a little looser than the other guys. And as I said earlier, he could use a little touching up to his lips, or a little not so bright anymore, but we'll be working on that. And next to him is Alfonso, and he's one of my really big guys. And he has gray colored eyes. And he's another one of my Behringer dolls that I repainted. And last but not least tends to be everybody's favorite, which, believe it or not, he doesn't have a name. We simply call him Fat Man because he's the chunkiest of them all. And he's weighted pretty heavily, beads in his legs and his arms, and a good bead sack inside his belly. So when you pick him up, I have to warn folks because he's a little on the heavy side, and so I have to give everybody a little warning before they pick him up. But he does not have a name. We simply call him Fat Man. Now if you move over to the changing table, you'll see 3 dolls on the table. This is also a Behringer doll with a Michaela wig on. And I really didn't do any painting to this doll. Simply blushed it a little, put a little color on the lips, and then I poked in some eyelashes. Now my 2 girls over here, I call them my twins, Tiffany and Tanisha. This is Tiffany. And this is Tanisha. She's a little bit sassier than Tiffany, so her name has to have a little punch to it. So that's Tanisha. And these are not Behringer dolls. These are dolls that I did purchase and pick up from Bountiful Baby. And I'm starting to do a little more detailing on them. She has some tips on her fingernails. She has a little more blushing to her. I'm not too good at rooting just yet, so I actually buy human hair tracks and I make the doll wigs myself. She has a mixture of a curly hair and then a straight hair in the front for the bangs. Then Tiffany, and they both have, Tiffany and Tanisha both have their ears pierced. Let me have your little lovey, sweetie. And so that's Tiffany. And she's my little quiet one of the 2. But I call them twins. This is my open eye version and my closed eye version of the twins. She also has a wig that I created that I think I'm going to be cutting a little more because it's a little bit much hair for a newborn, but I still like it. And I also need to give her some eyelashes, but she also has her little toes done. And she's not weighted. She's stuffed, but she's not weighted. So I hope to do that to the 2 girls soon, real soon. And lay her back down. And then at my changing table, I have a few little necessities. I have some blankets. I have some bottles that I haven't filled up yet, but I'm going to be working on that. I have a picture album and a few of the toys. And down below I have a basket full of Pampers because I do like to change the babies. And over here I have another seat that I use in order to lay the babies down, and there's a few stuffed animals in that item also. So if you look at the walls, you can see that I still have some painting to do. I'm going to make a drape for this table with the fabric that I showed you earlier. And basically this area right here is what I'm going to be using as a nursery. So please let me know what you thought of the video. Let me know what you think of the progress that I'm making. So just like everyone else on YouTube, I'm going to ask you to subscribe, comment, thumbs up, no thumbs down, no haters please. And let me know how I'm doing. Bye YouTube.